What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and it's only old Joe here today. I first want to start by saying thank you to everyone who has been rocking with After Prison Show. Thank you for all of the love and support. In this video, I want to tell you about 3 really crazy stories and get your input as to just what you think about all 3 of these. So without further ado, what do you say we just go ahead and dive head first into this video? This first story that I want to tell you about is a story that I had first spoke about in another video. This was a few months ago. It was a video called Crime versus Punishment. And in this video, I told you about a guy by the name of Joseph Hagerman. Now, if you never saw this video, let me go ahead and just give you the backstory to this entire situation. Basically, Joseph Hagerman was a guy who had never gotten in trouble before, but was on antipsychotic medication that he stopped taking back in 2009. Then he had a psychotic episode and took a serrated kitchen knife and then cut the head off of his son. He literally decapitated his son. Now again, this happened in 2009. He went to trial, pled not guilty by reason of insanity, and I'll be damned if he wasn't found not guilty by reason of insanity. So instead of being sent to prison, he was actually sent to a state medical facility where he would undergo treatment or whatever the hell actually happens at a place like that. Now, when I first spoke of this Joseph Hagerman story, again in a video titled Crime versus Punishment, I said that I didn't really agree with this whole not guilty by reason of insanity thing because it was him who had stopped taking his medication. And I felt that made him responsible for what he did. He decided to stop taking his medication. That in turn caused the psychotic episode that ended up with his son being killed in the process. Now, I know there were a lot of people who didn't agree with me in my whole way of thinking about this, and that's completely okay. I definitely respect everyone's opinion in this situation. But the crazy damn thing about it is just yesterday, this guy was actually released from that state medical facility that he was being housed at. And now again, this happened in 2009. Here it is 2017. This would be about 8 years later. And I really want to know what you guys think of this. Do you think 8 years is a sufficient amount of time for a person to recover from whatever the hell caused this psychotic episode that they went through, which in turn led to him decapitating his son in the process? Do you feel like this is actually justice served? And also, I mean, who's to say something like this doesn't happen again? How can they actually be so convinced that this guy is now cured? He's not going to go around cutting off the heads of anyone else. Again, I really want to hear what all of you have to say about this, so please comment down below and let me know exactly what you think about this situation. This next story that I want to tell you about, it's a really crazy story, and when hearing this story, the first thing that comes to mind is karma. Now, this story just happened this week at a Lowe's down in Florida. The name of the person who was involved in this situation hadn't been released at the time. And again, this is just a very crazy story. But what had happened was there was a guy who was inside of a Lowe's down in Florida trying to steal. And I guess they had seen him trying to steal, and what he was trying to steal is pretty damn crazy as well. He was actually trying to steal some sort of a knife that he had taken out of the package and concealed on his body. And as he was trying to leave from the store, he was approached by store personnel where he then pulled the knife out, brandishing the knife at the store employees just so he could get out of the store. And then once he was out of the store, the police were there. They were already notified, so the police were there waiting on him. He then took off on foot, basically running toward an apartment complex. And somewhere along the process of all of this chase, this guy had actually impaled himself with the knife, literally stabbing himself with the knife. The report goes on to say that it was a short-lived foot pursuit, ending with the suspect basically just collapsing right there. When the police got closer to this guy to actually investigate, they noticed that somehow he had been impaled by this knife. Now, I'm not sure if this happened by him actually running or with him actually falling on top of the knife, but that is just a crazy damn thing to think about. Here is a guy inside of a Lowe's trying to shoplift. What he is stealing is a knife that will ultimately end up being what kills him. Really, I don't even know what else to say about this situation other than karma is a bitch. What kind of things are people going to be able to say about you at your funeral? How did old John die? Oh, well, he was stealing a knife from Lowe's, and when he was being chased by the police after stealing that knife, he somehow tripped, fell, and ended up stabbing himself to death with this knife. That there to me is just an absolute insane situation. Now, this final story I want to tell you about also took place in the state of Florida. I really don't know what the hell's going on down in Florida right now. But this story involves a young woman by the name of Alex Dorino. And this young woman was actually set up by an undercover cop in some sort of a prostitution sting, where the undercover cop acted like he was trying to purchase oral sex from this chick for $25. Now, I guess somewhere between the back and forth bargaining of this price, this young 22-year-old chick did agree to perform this oral sex on this undercover cop for $25, but also for some McDonald's McNuggets as well. Yeah, she was actually arrested on charges of soliciting sex. Now, I'm not exactly sure like how this all went down. Can you imagine this? Here's this undercover cop trying to solicit this oral sex from this chick, and not only does he hand her over the $25, but he has to also hand her over those McNuggets before they can actually bust her. Here you go, sweetheart. Here's that $25, and here's that 4-piece dollar menu McNugget right here as well. Freeze! You're under arrest. I wonder if they actually let her eat those McNuggets before actually putting her in handcuffs. Pretty damn crazy situation, as are these other 2 stories that I told you about in this video as well. And again, really want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. This is something else that I will be bringing more of to After Prison Show, is telling you about these crazy crime-related stories in the news, as all of this in some way really does pertain to After Prison Show. In fact, this first guy, Joseph Hagerman, certainly has his own little after prison story going on for himself right now. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you think about these 3 stories. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day.